For me, good, great cinema would entertain you, yes, but would leave you with something. It's that thing that just keeps nudging at you, like these little guys are. My name is Daniel Etim Effiong, and I'm an actor and a filmmaker. And I just made an amazing film called The Herd, and it's out in cinemas across the nation from the 17th of October 2025. Woo woo! We got the title straight from the inception of the idea. The writer came to me with a couple of ideas and said, I have these 3 ideas that I'm working on, and see if you're interested in any of them. And I read the initial synopsis of The Herd and fell in love with it immediately. And I'm like, that's the one to go for. That's the one we should make. And the title was The Herd. And after reading it, I got why it was The Herd. But to speak on the title, The Herd, it's an adumbration, if you may. On the surface, it means a herd of cattle, right? But if you go a bit deeper and you interrogate the meaning in the film as we presented it, it spoke to a coming together of sorts and a moving in one direction, a movement towards one direction, which speaks about herding and herd and moving together as a people. So that's what the title is about. I'll say, do not do this at home. Do not direct and act and produce a film, because I acted, directed, and also produced it, or one of the producers on the project. It was hard because, first of all, I'm my biggest critic. So it wasn't easy just accepting scenes and just moving on when I was in those scenes. So I'll have to, sometimes I want to take it over and over again, take 2. Let's do another take. Let's just do a quick take. And then, the AD will come to me and say, bro, we have to move on. Director, no, he'll say, director, we have to move on. I'm sorry. So it was hard for me, but it was also a lot of fun, directing some of Nollywood's best talents on The Herd. It was really, really moving for me. There's some scenes that I actually cried. I'm telling you, being on, just watching the director's monitor and experiencing the actors in the scenes, it was so touching, so transformative for me as an artist. So I loved it. I loved every moment of it, although it was harrowing, but it was very fulfilling. Oh, hello. Come. Hello, you little angel. Oh my goodness, they are so beautiful. How do you guys know I love dogs? Ooh, so beautiful. So I grew up with dogs. So every time I see dogs, it just takes me back to my childhood and floods my heart with childhood memories, and I'm all just mushy and, yeah. Puppies are great. They're also very delicate, so. There were a number of delicate scenes in the film. And people will experience it differently because, what we do as storytellers is to present the facts, right? And then the audience engage with it. But what makes it delicate is your reaction to the scenes. And you can only react to it based on how it touches you and based on your own personal idiosyncrasies and your own personal experience with the scenes. So for me, one of the most delicate scenes is the scene where the character Adama has gone to the bank to ask for money to get a loan from the bank because her husband had been kidnapped. And it was such a moving scene for me because we saw her go from pleading and, just soliciting for help to desperation. The character became so desperate for help, and the banker was just doing her job. The interesting thing is, and that's how we designed the scene, the banker was just doing her job. You could see Adama grow through desperation, and the woman is just like, I really want to help you, but my hands are tied, and that's the fact, and life often presents itself like that. We are often faced with challenges that aren't necessarily anyone's fault or anyone's doing, but it's just life happening, and it's really sad, because if it's evil people going against us, then it's easy to say, oh, they're just being evil. But sometimes it's just life happening, and there's nothing you can do to change the fact. But you just have to go through that crucible, go through that process, and emerge on the other side. Smokey, hey Smokey, you want to join the party? Come join the party. Ooh. You hungry? Uh-oh. So guys, I'd like to introduce you to my new friends. This little rascal here is Smokey. Smokey is hungry, he always eats. And this guy here is Chestnut. Chestnut is the one that sleeps all the time. And then this guy is Shadow. Shadow is shy, so he's always hiding, but he's right here. Shadow. So there you have it, my three new friends, Smokey, Chestnut, and Shadow. Good cinema is storytelling for the big screens that has an impact. For me, the audience has to watch this film and be not just entertained, but also moved to adjustment, moved to change something, change a mindset, change a behavioral pattern, change a way of thinking, change a way of being. For me, good, great cinema would entertain you, yes, but would leave you with something. And that thing, when you go away from the screens, when you go away from the cinema experience, you just can't stop thinking about it. It's that thing that just keeps nudging at you, like these little guys are, are biting my fingertips. It's just that thing that keeps biting at you and won't let you go until you make some adjustment. I think it all starts with great storytelling from the pages of the script. By the time the writer was done with the final draft and I read it, there were some scenes I couldn't stop thinking about. There were some moments in the script that I couldn't wait to jump on. And as a storyteller, I just couldn't wait to say, you know what, I can't wait to film this, and I can't wait for people to watch this, because I kept thinking about it. And so now the film is done. I'm hoping that when people see it, they have that same experience. They leave the cinemas with that feeling of like, wow, did that really happen? There are four characters that are central to this story. Gussie, the best man, his wife, Adama, the bride, Daring, and the police officer, Garba. Now, casting these characters was interesting. I had to pick, okay, so I was playing Gussie, so I'll skip that. Because for two reasons. Number one, we're just really trying to save money, right? And of course, we had to ask ourselves the hard question, who would you play in this role that had the emotional bandwidth for this, for the processes in the story, and that we could afford? And so we had to just face the fact and go, Daniel, you can play and won't pay you, right? And yeah, so that's how I ended up playing Gussie. And then next was Adama, Gussie's wife. I needed someone who, quote and unquote, who could be vulnerable and strong at the same time. And I know it might seem like an easy concept, but it's really not. To show vulnerability and strength within the same breath, yeah. And someone who looked appealing with little or no effort. That was also key to casting for Adama. And then Daring, of course, had to be someone who could be tough. You know, someone who would go into the woods, into the forest, who looked delicate but was really tough. You know. And then lastly, Garba had to be someone from the north, and then had to be convincing as a police officer, intelligent, tough, and convincing as a police officer. So that's how we went about casting for these 4 characters. All these 4 characters came together to sort of like ask the central question in the film. You know, would Gussie go home? I mean, that's the central question. Would Gussie, who had been kidnapped, will he make it home? And these 4 characters came together to solve that big question. I'm trying really hard not to let things out of the bag here, but yeah, they were really instrumental. You see, the story has like 3 paths. The story has 3 paths coming together, and in the 3rd act, we see the coming together of those 3 different paths, and yeah, there's a big explosion, and we get to find out if Gussie makes it home. I had 2 biggest fears, and they acted together. The one was that we won't be able to finish making the film because we shot at the peak of the rainy season and it kept raining, and at some point I was like, oh gosh, you know, like, are we going to finish? That was a real fear. And we had a lot of exterior scenes. We're filming in the bush in Abeokuta. And then lastly, the second fear was, if we finish, would we have told this story to the best of our abilities, and would we have made compromises to, or would we have compromised the integrity of the story? The second fear was, if we did finish, would we compromise the quality of the film because we had to finish? Would we have impacted the quality of the film because, you know, we had to, you know, so it was a compromise between finishing and finishing well. Like, would we just finish because we had to finish, or would we be finishing the film the way we knew we could, you know? So it was so that was the fear for me, and I'm just so grateful to God that we finished, and we finished in a way that I could say that yes, we told a great story. Hi guys, my name is Daniel Etim Effiong, and this is Smokey, Chestnut, and Shadow, and we're saying The Herd is now showing in cinemas across the nation. Go watch it.